Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sumukhascha Ekadantascha Kapilo Gajakarnakaha Lambodharascha Vikato Vignarajo Vinayakaha Dhumaketur Ganadhyakshaha Phalachandro Gajananaha Vakratundaha Surpakarno Herambaha Skandhapurvajaha Suklam Bharagaram Vishnum Kasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopasantaye Yasyadvaradavaktrabhyaha Parishadhyaha Parasatam Vignam Vidhanti Satatam Vishwaksenam Samastraye Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheswaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Aklishtakarine Namo Vedanta Vedhyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine Krishna Dvaipaya Namvyasam Sarvabhuta Hiteratam Vedabjabhaskaram Bande Samadhi Nilayam Munim Janmadhyasya Yataha Anvayat Yataratascha Arteshu Abhignanaswarat Tene Brahma Hada Yaha Adikavaye Mukhyanti Yat Surayah Tejovari Mudam Yatha Vinimayo Yatritri Sargo Mrisha Dhamna Sena Sada Nilastakuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharmaha Prochidha Kaitavotra Paramodabdat Saranam Satam Vedyam Vastavam Atravastu Sivadam Tapatrayo Molanam Srimath Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kimva Pare Vishwaraha Sadhyo Hridi Avarudyate Atra Krutivihi Susrushidhi Takshanat Nikama Kalpataror Kalitam Phalam Sukamukat Amritat Dravasam Yutam Tibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasikaha Bhuvi Bhavukaha Yam Prabrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Vaipayano Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putretritan Mayataya Paravo Vinetustam Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi Yaha Swanubhavam Akila Sruti Saaram Ekam Adhyatma Deepam Atititi Shatam Tamondhamam Samsarinam Karunayaha Purana Bhukhyam Tam Vyasasunum Upayami Gurum Muninam Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayal Udirayet. Now with Swami's grace we have taken up a quick review of the Skandhams 1, 2 and 3 before we move on to other Skandhas from Skandham 4 onwards. And this review has been prompted that we must do a quick review, has been repeatedly prompted by Bhagavan in my mind, and we are doing it based upon his command. And as incidentally one elder pointed out when he heard about this, that he said this is beautiful because it steadies our mind for further study of Bhagavatam. Last session, we came up to Suta Muni, replying to the Saunaka and other rishis, and we came up to the point where he says he will be very, very pleased to do this, to recite the Bhagavatam. He says what else is there? There is nothing that is more important than this. Everything else is tinsel compared to Bhagavatam. This is the only panacea. And then the rishis, when they asked him, Swami, now with Krishna Avataram, Bhagavan has left his body and gone. It's the end of the Aparadam, the Kali Yuga has begun. So when they asked this question, who is going to guide the people now? It's such a darkness of adharmam, people don't know, they have lost their way. And then Suta Muni answers, Krishna Bhagavan, after he left his body, and Bhagavan has not gone anywhere, he's always here. But the Avataram, at the end of his human form, and after that, for the people, this Purana Suryan, this Bhagavatam, he calls it as Purana Suryan, the one that sheds effulgence of light to dispel the darkness that is in people's mind and heart. The darkness in the heart is nothing but selfishness. The darkness in the mind is nothing but ignorance, ajnanam. Okay? So, up to that point we came. Then Saunaka now asked Suta Muni several questions, so I'm going to go through those fairly briefly, okay, taking you through the quickly in English, and where I'm prompted to do so by Bhagavan, I'll also share the Sanskrit slokam with you. Okay, now he says, "Oh Swami Bhagavan," and when Suta told him that he was fortunate and blessed to listen to this Bhagavatam being recited by Sukha Bhagavan, then Saunaka tells him, "You're so blessed." Now Bhagavan Sukha, what did he teach? Please teach us, so narrate that punya katha to us, please, and please you must do that. And then in which yugam, in which place, for what reason this began, and prompted by whom did Krishna Dvaipayana, Vyasa they wrote the Samhita so that everybody will know. Then Saunaka continues. He says, but his son is a Mahayogi, Samadarshi. Okay, absolutely there is no difference in his vision. There is no Veda Buddhi at all for him. And with a very focused, stable, steady mind. And he is the one who has woken up from the sleep of Maya. And because he always appears like a foolish person, that's not interested in this, therefore he's always, people ignore him. He's not to be seen. He's not easily seen by people. Now Saunaka continues. He says, remember one of the prayer slokams we have when Vyasa Bhagavan are unable to bear the separation from his son, says Putreti, and he follows. And then the trees respond. That the rishis now pointed out. They say when Vyasa Bhagavan was following his son, and the sun was going across, and then he was absolutely Nagamparam, because had no body consciousness, one with everything, so there was no difference for him. There was a pond there, and there were ladies there, they were taking a snanam, bathing there. When they saw Sukhamuni, they all got up and worshipped, put their hands in Anjali position, because when you see Bhagavan, automatically you do Namaskaram. So they all did that. Now, as soon as Vyasa was coming behind, chasing him, they all immediately went under the water and hid their body. And so, when Vyasa Bhagavan, Vyasa is also an avatar of Bhagavan. When they immediately hid their body from him, they asked him, why? My son, you didn't do this, but for me you're doing this. Then they said, yeah, but see, your son has no body consciousness. There's no difference. In his mind, everything is only one. He is always in the oneness, Ekam Sat. But you are not like that. You've got body consciousness. That is why you call him as your son. So that is why we immediately hid ourselves. So that Saunaka recites that. Then he continues. So I'm going to now give you the several questions from Saunaka. Okay? He tells Suta Muni, Swami, this little boy, he goes from he's gone place to place, and people thought he was a madman. People thought he was actually dumb, could not speak, and he looked like somebody an asat, absolutely unskilled person. He was moving from place to place. How was he known by people that he was such a great Mahatma? Right? One who has attained Atmanyanam. How did people know? And how did this Bhagavatam got taught to Raja Rishi Parikshit by Sukha Muni, who's always keeping maunam only. He doesn't speak. How come it was taught to him by him? And that Sukha Muni goes from place to place, does not even stay at any place. The only place he stays at any time in any grihastashramam is the time it takes for the cow herd to milk the cow. That's all the time. It's a very little time he stays. How come he taught Parikshit his Bhagavatam? And they all say, Abhimanyu's son Parikshit is a Bhagavata Uttaman. Oh, his wondrous birth and all his actions he must tell us. And how come that Parikshit, who was a Maharaja of the Pandava, the big kingdom, Chakravarti he was, and so, how did he give up all the Samrajya Lakshmi just like that? And went to the banks of Ganga, like that he asked the questions. Suta Muni replies. He says, in the current Mahayugam, the Chaturayugam that's happening, the third Yugam of Dwaparam, at that time, when it was about to end, Parasara with Satyavati and the Bhagavan Vyasa was born to Satyavati, and Parasara is his father. And the Vyasa Bhagavan is an amsam of Hari Bhagavan, Vishnu himself. Now, he was sitting on the banks of Saraswati River, and he was ruminating within himself. Right at the time of dawn, the sun was just about to rise, so he was sitting there. And he said, I've observed all dharmas, brahmacharya and everything, and Vedam, the Agnihomam, the puja to Gurunatha, all the things I've carried out. And Mahabharata has also been composed by me. But in spite of all that, all this body, the Jivatma has been everything, extremely powerful. It's full of Brahma Tejas, it is. But some reason that I'm not happy, I'm not peaceful. At that time, Narada came there. Immediately, Vyasa Bhagavan worshipped him, received him, and then Narada said, Vyasa, the most wondrous, all subjects have been covered, Paripurnam, that Itihasam, Mahabharatam, it's Arpudam. That Arpudam, that Mahabharatam, you have composed it. Whatever is to be known has been properly and totally and completely inquired by you. Sanatana Dharmam, Brahmatattvam, everything has been completely analyzed. In Mahabharatam, we have Bhagavad Gita. What more do you want? Right? But still, why are you sad? Why are you not peaceful? You feel as if you are deficient. Then Vyasa says, yes, Swami, you're right. All the things that you say are true, but you see, I don't have peace. I'm not peaceful. And I'm asking you because you know of all people, and you are the Manasika Putra of Brahma himself. So please tell me why I'm not peaceful, why I'm peaceless. And then Narada says, Muni Sreshta, you have described so many things so beautifully. Yes, you've done all about dharmam and the various pathways to follow that in life. Everything you've done in great detail. But you see, the same way, you have not described the stories and glories of Vasudeva. He says, it doesn't matter whatever you do, whatever big compositions and nice, beautiful phonetic and elocutionary oratorial words and so many things we can use. But if it doesn't talk about Bhagavan's glories and stories, the sweet nectar of Bhagavan's love, it is worthless. And you see, all the great rishis, they're all so much attached to Sathya. They are Dhita Vratam, follow very strong discipline. But everybody, in order to give up their bondage, they're all singing and doing jhanam only on Bhagavan's Leela. Yes, you have composed Mahabharatam, but what does it talk about? Dharmam, adharmam, so many things are there. It has poisoned your mind. So compose now the Puranam on the sweet nectar, which is nothing but Bhagavan's story. Bhagavan's story, that is what's important. Man's story, history is not important. His story is what's important. Do that. Then you will find peace. But nothing else can equal that. I will tell you something, he said. I will tell you my own story. Okay. Then he says, in my previous birth, I was gone to a servant maid. I was a young boy. A servant maid was doing service in somebody's house. At that time, the Chaturmasam came, the 4 months of rain. A group of Vedavitikal Brahmanas came there. And so my mother asked me to go and serve them. So I was serving them every day, okay? And they were discussing Atma Vidya, everything. I used to listen to it. And whatever the residue, whatever the balance that they left behind on that plate is what I used to eat. And they were so pleased with my service because I was full of humility. So my service attitude was selfless. And I did it with Shraddha and with tremendous humility. Vinayam is very important, and love. And whatever they asked me to do, I did it. So when they were about to leave, just as Bhagavan himself was talking to me, they taught me the most sought after Atma Jnanam, the Guhyam, Parama Guhyam, that Jnanam, out of their own love. They taught me that. Then Vyasa said, oh really? Then after they left, you were such a young boy, what did you do? Then Narada answered, after they left, a few days later, the servant maid who was also my mother, one early morning she went to the backyard to fetch something, was bitten by a snake and she died. Then I thought, oh my God, my last bondage in this materialist world is also gone. So I left, went through the forest and ruminating and yearning for this Bhagavan that these rishis have taught me. I was so involved. I went to the forest and did tapas. Went to northwards towards that. And went to the bank of a river. Yes, I was extremely hungry, very tired, very thirsty, but not minding any of that, I sat under a tree and did dhyanam. I was doing dhyanam on Bhagavan, Kamala Padangal, the lotus feet of Bhagavan. At that time, after some time, with Bhagavan's blessing, there was an asariri, a voice came in Narada. It said, in this Janmam, you cannot see me, you can only hear me. But from your next Janmam onward, you will always be with me. It said that. And then, beautifully, so lovingly it spoke, all my sadness, everything was immediately gone, pulverized. And it said, the voice said, it is not easy for people to get my darshan. In this birth you cannot see me. But you have seen me once. Why? Because to kindle, to nourish, to exponentially increase your yearning for me, my darshan has been shown to you. And one, the sadhu who attaches himself to me, slowly removes his attachments from everything else. But you are very blessed. Because you did service to the rishis, your attachment to me is fixed, is steady, is strong. Once you leave this body, then you will be my devotee. You will be with me always. Then the Asariri was gone, and I was continuing to sing. And when the Mahapralayam came, the Kalpam, the end of the day, when Brahma's day ended, and the Mahapralayam came, and even Brahma himself, everything was dissolved back into Srimad Narayana. At that time, I also entered him along with, like a muchuka, the breath of Brahma. Then, after 1,000 Mahayugangal was over, which is the night time of Brahma, then when the creation, the Srishti started again. Then from Brahma's Indriyangal, the Saptarishikal came, Marichi, Angiras, okay, everybody. At that time, I also appeared. Then because of the grace of Mahavishnu, I can go anywhere, to all the 14 lokas, to all the three aspects of time, everywhere I go around and singing his name, the Namasparanam. And he says, for those people who want to control, who want to cross over the attractions and the attachments of the senses and the sense objects, and who want to cross over the wayward mind and control it and fix it on Bhagavan's lotus feet, there is one in that ocean, there is a boat that is available, and that is Hari Leela Varnanai. The description, the narration of Bhagavan's stories and glories is the only panacea. Mind will become attached to it, will become so peaceful. Then Narada says, O Anagha, the sinless one, he tells Vyasa. Now, in answer to your question, I will describe my life history to you. Now, start singing the stories and glories of Bhagavan. That is why, after doing 17 Puranas and Mahabharatam, Narada taught Vyasa Bhagavan to start narrating the stories and glories of Bhagavan Krishna. That is the genesis, the origin of this Bhagavata book. Bhagavatam is timeless, as we saw earlier. Then Suta continued. He says at the end of the Mahabharata war, which gives the bhakti to Krishna, which removes completely, totally man's illnesses, man's ignorance, man's sufferings, that Bhagavata Samhita was taught to Sukamuni by Vyasa. Then Saunaka says, Swami, but Sukha was already one with Brahman. How come, he's not attached to anything. He's always in that Paramanandam. How come he was attracted to this story narrated by Vyasa? Then Suta says, yes. Even when you are in Atmanandam, even when you have no other attachment, completely one with Brahman, there is, without reason, without any cause, there is a tremendous attraction, the sweetness, the nectarine sweetness of Bhagavan's stories and glories always attracts. This is the tattvam of Hari. This is what he says. Now, I will tell you now, so that continues, how Sukamuni taught this to Parikshit, and through that only we all came to know. I will tell you that, how Parikshit was born, and what about his life, and how did he attain mukti, and how the various the Pandavas went to Swarga Arohanam. What other thing I will tell you right now. And then he starts very briefly, we'll cover that. After the Mahabharata was ended, there were everybody was gone. I think there was only 7 people that were alive from the Pandava side, and I believe there were maybe 5 or so, 3 or 5 on the Kaurava side. One of them was Aswathama. And because Aswathama was full of revenge, he took a sapatam, a vow, that he would completely obliterate the lineage of the Pandavas. And then he found, of course, Abhimanyu was already dead in the war. So he found that Abhimanyu was dead, but Abhimanyu's son was still growing in Uttara's womb. So he wanted to demolish and kill that right in the womb itself. Therefore, there will be no lineage for Pandavas. No, I will skip the Upapandava things and all that. That's not very important. Okay. And so he decided to kill. And this news came to Uttara. So she was naturally frightened, being a mother, and the fetus is growing, carrying Abhimanyu's son in her womb, and here is a threat to the child. So immediately she comes rushing to Krishna. And now look at slokam 8.9, 1.8.9. She says, Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate Na Anyam Tvat Abhayam Pasye Yatra Mrutyuhu Parasparam. Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate Na Anyam Tvat Abhayam Pasye Yatra Mrutyuhu Parasparam. Tiyo Mahayogi Deva Deva, the protector of the whole universe. Oh, please protect me, protect me, protect me. Now, in this world, everyone is a Yaman, tries to kill other people in this place. I find nobody other than you as refuge. Then she says, Swami, there is a very strong steel iron arrow that is chasing me. I don't care. Let it destroy me. I'm not worried. But please, Swami, my garbham should not be spoiled. It should not kill the fetus in my womb. She comes rushing, Uttara. Krishna Bhagavan smiles immediately. He knows that this is Asvatthama's doing. He had sent the Brahmastram. Then he protects the fetus in Uttara's womb. Okay, now that gives birth to Parikshit. That we will take up with Swami's grace on Thursday. If everything Bhagavan will guide us, that is Mahasivaratri day. It's coming Thursday. With His grace, we can enjoy the birth of a bhakta, unbelievable life that Parikshit had. So let us defer to that. So Krishna Bhagavan protects her, and before this happens, of course, there was Krishna, consoles, and Vyasa and everybody consoles Dharmaputra and everybody else, because they all had lost their relatives and all that. The place was a very extremely sad place. So then finally, Yudhishthira does 3 Aswamedha, etc., etc. Those details I'm not going to go into. Each one is a very beautiful story, since we are doing a review and skipping all that. But most important is, after Krishna saves the life of this little fetus, okay, and then he was about getting ready to go to Dwaraka. I was about to get up on the chariot. At that time, Kunti comes rushing there. Kunti is, after all, the grandmother party, right? She comes and she worships Krishna. And that is known as Kunti Stuti. That we will take up tomorrow, because we must go through the slokam and also meaning again. And after that, with Swami's grace, we'll take up Bhishma Stuti. That is another very important, most important stuti in Bhagavatam. And then we'll take up the birth and life of Parikshit in a very short way. But the Parikshit, right from birth, even before he was born, came out of, when I say birth, coming out of mother's womb, even what happened in his mother's womb itself is so nectarine. It's unbelievable. Right till the time that he merges with Krishna, okay, on the 7th day after listening to Bhagavatam, every aspect of Parikshit's life is as nectarine and as sweet as the story, the glory of Bhagavan's avataram itself, because there is no difference between Bhagavan and Bhakta. No difference. Bhakta and Bhagavan, one and the same, no difference at all. So with this grace, we will share that on Thursday, a few instances from Parikshit's life before we move on to move on further, okay, into hopefully Skandham 2, okay? Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ।